All right, let's go to the next clip here. Again, you're going to find all these interesting.
Materials means
bodies.
All right, let me go back here. This is an interesting take on what ET. What does that mean?
What do you think biological materials means?
Bodies of non-human entities.
Aliens.
I don't know what you mean by aliens, but a biological creature
that didn't
of a morphology that we don't recognize as being associated with any sort of phylogenetic tree.
It came from another planet.
Or has it been here forever?
There's other hypotheses.
Yeah, it's been here forever.
I mean, we are about to create synthetic life. We are thinking about engineering complex synthetic biological systems, biomechanical systems. You know, most of the things on DARPA's drawing board for 20 years is the convergence of synthetic biology, robotics, and AI. So you can imagine these being synthetic biological creatures designed to perform certain functions, not necessarily,
but come from somewhere else,
or made by something else. Not necessarily coming from somewhere else.
Yeah. What do you think about that? That's
why I love this job. That's why I love doing this shit. This is so cool. It's like, what other job can you sit around and talk about stuff like this all day with other people who are into the same thing? It's crazy. Well, I mean, look, if any of it's true, if 10%, if 5% of it's true, it's going to change the world. So, I mean, like, it has to all be 100% bullshit for nothing, for nothing amazing to happen. The question really is, it's like, okay, we've been building to this for so long. Okay, I'll guess I'll trust you, bro, that it'll be 2 weeks from now or next month or whatever, but I guess we'll see, right? It sounds really compelling though. I mean, bodies, okay. Gary Nolan did say they think it's some kind of artificial, like an avatar, like you could drive the suit or something. I don't know.
Yeah. That's kind of the issue though, is for me, is there's so many theories. It's and a lot of people saying no, this is what it is, right? It's angels and demons, it's time travelers, right? You got Michael McMasters, who I had on the show, talk to him. He embodies a future self and talks to entities, right? So he's saying it's clearly there's some extra temporal aspect to it. You got people like Chris Bledsoe, you got people like Jason Sands, you got people like, I don't even know, man. I just, Travis Walton's, the Bob Lazars. I don't know.
Thing on Dan Burrish. Did you look at that video? Have you seen any of the Dan Burrish stuff?
I have seen a little bit of it, and I do want to talk to you about that. Let's save that for the end, because I wanted you to bring that up and talk about, because I know you've done some deep dives on it. But yeah,
well, he's got a similar thing. He made a statement that threw everybody into a tailspin, and it's like this whole statement about that. What he just said,
what they are, what he thinks they are. Yeah,
he said, I've never met an alien, but I've met an extraterrestrial. And they were like, could you explain what you mean by that? And he's like, well, they're not the same thing.
So that's interesting. I had Steve Bassett on. He talked about he's a firm believer in star to star. He thinks, no, they're coming from another star system. All this that you hear about interdimensional and this and that, that's all just used to cloud what it really is. It really is just star to star. And I find that interesting, because that goes against, that was a popular theory forever, right? That being the theory. Yeah. And then it changed, right? It changed, and all these other theories started to percolate and sort of rise to the top. And now you've got,
do you think that's because more people are just like, it's more that the stigma's gone and you can talk about it openly now? So there's a flourishing of that conversation.
Possible. I'm sure it's a mix of things, right? It's a mix of I'm sure that's one of them, for sure. Right.
Yeah,
absolutely. No, I agree. Yeah, that's one of them. And more, look, this attracts people making up things. This topic, this community, it brings people in that make up stories and want to be a part of it. And that also, right, the bigger it gets, the less stigma. You got people willing to come in and just make things up. You got people that are finally willing to talk about experiences that they've had, that they've been holding for a long time. You've got just to becoming more popular and mainstream, covered more, like we're saying, maybe the psyop gets bulkier too, right, of them trying to cover up
Yeah, it's
something.
It's all happening at once.
There's
and
a psyop to me, but are they covering up alien technology or are they covering up our own technology or both? But there's a psyop going on
for sure.
Because right, like,
oh,
to some
absolutely.
extent.
Well, it's not. It never stopped. Why would it? When did it stop? Like, when did they stop screwing with this community? And so
that's a great point.
They've been messing with us forever.
That's a great point.
It never
stopped.
stopped.
Great point.
So you just have to like, if you can spot it. I have no idea which, what direction it comes from these days, but who knows?
Hey, like you said, man, we only need one thing to be true, and it's game changer.
Exactly.
And we got good probability because there's a lot out there, right? So I'm with you, man. All right, look, this next clip is very interesting too. These are going to heat up as we go. Some of them are a little shorter than others, but yeah, this guy's very interesting. He's well spoken. So again, I highly recommend people go check out the full interview of this guy.
What the folks pushing for disclosure don't want is what they call catastrophic disclosure, which is the sort of uncontrolled spilling of all the stuff associated with this topic in a way that would cause social.
Yeah, but we want to see shit. Let's be honest. We want to see a spaceship, or we want to see a little green man. Let's be honest.
Yeah,
because otherwise it's just somebody says something.
But that's the objective. The objective isn't to convince everyone at the same time. In fact, that's the exact opposite objective. Because if everyone all of a sudden went from thinking this isn't true to thinking it is true, well, you could have disruptive social effects. Yeah. So the objective is to increase the number of people that think this is true by a few percentage points every few months.
But we gradually get there.
And that's the point. That's the point of having this 7-year project where you establish sort of a rolling consensus on these things.
Isn't that interesting? I found that clip very interesting, especially the part about the goal isn't to get everyone to understand this all at once, but a few percentage points every few months, right? Like he's thinking financially, right? The way he's thinking about how this can work. And I find that interesting. The 7-year plan, right? To bring out disclosure. Yeah. I don't know. What do you think?
That's like the
kind of what you've been saying.
My question is, based on their posturing, right? Like where they're coming from is like they want to prevent a catastrophic disclosure. Okay, so how do a bunch of Bitcoin guys make a fortune off of it not being catastrophic? If it's catastrophic, what happens? Everybody bails on all the markets all at once, and it's chaos. So you wouldn't necessarily know how to play that, but maybe you would. I don't know. I'm not like a Wall Street guy, but some of these, you know how it is. They want to figure out a way to play this. There's no way that they're not trying to make money off this. Like somehow. Sure. These guys want to come out on top. I believe that. So when you see this like alliance between finance and Wall Street and disclosure, don't think it's because they love everyone and they want to have world peace. It's not. That would be a nice cherry on top if we get that. But that on the way there, they're going to make a shitload of money, and we have to just work backwards from that and figure out what would they do. That's my question.
Yeah, no, you make a lot of sense, man. I agree. Clearly, they want to get people in the financial market to be aware of what's happening and where this could go, because they'll immediately start to plan, right? How do we make money off this? Like you said, let's make a plan for how this could work. If this rolled out and this technology became available, what could we do? How could we leverage this by not even being part of the companies, right? Like clearly that's what Wall Street does, right? They're not running all these companies, a lot of them. So that's interesting. Having the financial aspect and them going to them, and they also need investments, right? You've got a lot of post-disclosure nonprofits or whatever starting, right? New Paradigm Institute, the UAP Disclosure Fund, whatever, Soul, right? These different things. They were recently, as explained to me, that those are post-disclosure programs that they're trying to do, right? They're trying to set up a foundation to prepare people for when disclosure comes. There's already things in place to help people, right? To get people,
that's why I think
to come to terms with it.
That's why I think Gary Nolan is like mic dropping on Neil deGrasse Tyson so hard lately. He doesn't even care anymore. He's just kind of like out there throwing bombs. And I think it's like these guys they behave as if this is a done deal. They're acting like this is a done deal. And so you have to ask yourself, like, deep down, is that enough to like, do you trust that? I do. I feel like if enough of these people in these positions are saying like, we're going to act like this is a done deal and this is going to happen in 7 years or whatever it is, but they know, that's pretty powerful. It's hard to argue with that.
Sure. All right. I feel you. I'm excited then for the 7 years when it comes. I'll be waiting, but I'm like that. I'm like that guy in the last clip that we showed. I want to see some shit.
That's
some
it.
Shit, right? Like,
yeah. I mean, that's what I mean. Like along the way, they want to make money, so you're going to roll this stuff out. You'll see it for sure. You're going to see it.
Sure. Yeah, exactly. They'll roll it out slowly because that's how you make the most money. Let's be real, right? Is to do that. So
absolutely.